Welcome to Afternoons on 11. I'm your host, Christine Buck. You know, it's that time of year when everywhere you turn, you're tempted by food and drink. It's also the time of year when you promise yourself when the calendar flips, your resolution will be to lose weight. Will you do it this time? Weight loss coach Charles Dangelo knows all about this cycle. He lost 160 pounds and has kept it off for a long time now, and he's helping other people reach their goals. A new year, a new me. It's the phrase tons of people are using heading into every new year, and it starts with making resolutions. At the top of a lot of lists, losing weight and getting in shape. It's a goal weight loss coach Charles Dangelo knows all too well.
At 17, I weighed 360 pounds. I felt miserable and no self-esteem. Getting out of a chair was a challenge for me. I knew I had to take action. I was able to totally transform my life, losing 160 pounds and inspiring thousands of others to do the same in their own world.
Too often we fall short of our goals. However, Charles is here to explain what it really takes to keep those New Year's resolutions. And Charles Dangelo, hello, how are you?
Christine, it's good to see you again.
It's great to see you too. So here we go into another year, busy helping people reach goals, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Let's get right to it. It is a cycle. You know, you want to lose weight. You say you're going to do it. Maybe you last 3 or 4 days, maybe 2 weeks, and then something happens and pow, it's gone, and then you think, well, I've already blown it. I'll just keep going.
Absolutely.
I'm always struck by the fact that people will have personal trainers and even life coaches and things like that, but a weight loss coach,
sure.
Somehow, what is it? Is it the shame of having that weight on them?
I think that for each person, it's a different situation. Number one, to create the elusive lasting change that I must remind viewers, Christine was once a client of mine, in full disclosure. You've kept now, what is it, 45 pounds off for, did you say 5 years of working with me? I think to create that lasting change, a couple things need to happen. First off, you need to recognize, I often use a metaphor of a three-legged stool. I say that you have to have a healthy eating plan. You have to have a good exercise program that you can sustain and continue with. But I think most programs out there are missing this third leg that I call the mindset. It's the glue that holds it all together. But you know, now having done this for 12 years, I began to rethink that. I think the three-legged stool is a good metaphor, but I think it more now is like gears. So we have one gear of healthy foods. We've got to have a plan where you're not ever vulnerable to being hungry. So many people look at this whole equation as something of primary importance. So they'll go to a nutritionist or a dietitian, and the dietitian will say, you know, your foods are number one important. You've got to be perfect with your foods. And yeah, exercise is important too. And that psychology thing, yeah, that's important. But if you don't have your foods right, there's no hope for you. Right. Other people, exercise trainers, exercise physiologists, people that work in the fitness world, they'll say that exercise is of primary importance. And then they'll say that food's kind of secondary, and then, yeah, having the right psychology is tertiary. I don't think you can look at it that way. Right. I think that you have to understand, you have to have the gear of food there, you have to have the gear of exercise there, and you have to have this third gear of the right mindset, the philosophy, the attitude, to keep all this moving. Now, people often ask me, what's the real secret behind my program? Because today we're going to have a couple guests. One who lost 100 pounds since May, and he totally reversed his type 2 diabetic condition to the point that his doctors have been able to reduce and eliminate many of his medications. We have another woman who's now nearly 60. She lost 152 pounds, and she's kept it off over a year. So people ask me, what's the secret behind that type of lasting change? I say it's called behavioral conditioning.
Okay, now hold your thought.
Yes.
That's true, but there's something about when you get in this program with you, it's about accountability, because if you don't have accountability to something or someone, I mean, and if you're not the kind of person that can get on the scale at home and motivate yourself to keep doing it, that's what it becomes, the accountability part.
People often come to me thinking that that's what they're looking for, that they're looking for someone to hold them accountable, but in truth, I always tell people motivation is like a warm bath. It's something that lasts maybe for 24 hours, because I used to be the type of person, in fact, when you came to me many years ago, I would get people fully associated to why they need to change. If you're at home and you really need to change, you need to ask yourself why, or what are the compelling reasons behind that? Because ultimately, those reasons are what's going to carry you through the challenging times. Because most often in American culture, our environment is what's conditioning us. What we have to do is take charge of our conditioning by starting to allow the things we know that should be influencing us to truly influence us. That means we need to take charge of what we're conditionally reinforcing, meaning any behavior that is consistent and is reinforced.
Now you're getting that voice.
Will become a habit.
That weight loss voice.
Well, what I'm saying is I'm getting passionate about this because I care that people at home change.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not yelling at you.
I know.
Okay. What people need to understand is that if you continually perform behavior and you get it reinforced, it's going to become a habit.
Sure.
We're all products of what we're habitually doing. Here's the problem. Most of us are doing things that we're unconscious of. So when a person comes to me, you call accountability. If that works for you, I'm fine with it.
Right.
I would say I help people become conscious. You joked about one of my clients before. You said, she's lost 160 pounds. Charles must have hypnotized her. Well, I
think
really
I said
think brainwashed. I think that was more accurate. Charles brainwashed her. I think what I really do is I break the hypnosis of our culture, because so many people look at food as a substance to change how they feel.
Yeah.
When in reality, food is meant for functioning.
Yes.
It is not meant to be an emotional
It's a paradigm
comfort.
shift in how you see food and how it fuels
And you
your
see
body.
yourself. Because if you can't come up with a compelling vision for your future, if you don't see that it's possible, why do I spend time showing so many different cases of people that have lost weight? It's to show that no matter what your age, no matter what your heredity, no matter what your history, that does not have to be your future if you'll change.
You know, Charles, I know that you just lost your dad. It's been about a year.
It's been 1 year, December 6th of 2013.
He was so young. And
54.
And it had a lot to do with the weight that he was carrying around.
I would say it was primarily food induced. My dad was 54. He was a hardworking man. I'm extraordinarily blessed to have both of my parents had such an influence on me. Yeah, there he is with Ozzy Osbourne. There he is. He was a tremendous fisherman.
He must have been so proud of what you did in losing weight. Didn't
My
he?
dad was
and then
really
he
a great
tried,
guy.
right?
My father, here's what happened. My dad, you know, they say in the Bible, a prophet has no honor in his own home. So I couldn't tell my dad what to do because I was his son. Now, I could influence him, but my dad was going to do what he wanted to do, as many people at home know. I often get the question, can you change a person who doesn't want to change? Answer, yes.
Yeah.
If you have enough leverage. Here's the issue. I tend to be ethical in the way that I leverage people. So I would bring to the reality of my father's attention, hey, Dad, look, you have type 2 diabetes. You're already losing the feeling in your fingers. His feet were bothering him. His doctor had warned him that he had some blockage, but my dad was a hardworking man, and he didn't have much education. So my dad didn't really understand that food can either be the most potent poison, it can ruin you and kill you, or it could be a very powerful form of medicine to heal you, depending on how you use it. And most of our American culture doesn't understand that food has a medicinal effect in the body. It literally does change your biochemistry. So you've got to take charge of that. My dad had a heart attack. He then came to see me. He went from 292 to 247. Unfortunately, he then had a subsequent heart attack that took his life. So when you do the right thing, but you do it at the wrong time, sometimes things don't work out. What I'm here to say today is take charge today. Use today as a moment that is the leverage point for you to change your life, like those that we're going to interview have done.
I'm sorry for your loss, but I know that you'll take that pain and you'll recycle it into helping people.
It certainly has only cemented my fervor to help other people, because I truly understand, not only having been 360 pounds, but losing my dad, losing my grandparents to that illness, how much people need to take charge of their habits.
All right. Well, what are the obstacles you face when it comes to setting a plan to lose weight? You can leave your questions for weight loss coach Charles Dangelo on our Facebook page at kpl11.com. We will read those comments a little later on in the show, and when we come back, we meet a client of Charles who has managed to lose, as you said, 100 pounds. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes. And welcome back to Afternoons on 11. Weight loss coach Charles Dangelo is here, and he is joined by Asher Ben Ruby, and many people may know him as Smash.
Smash.
Nice to be here.
And you have lost 100 pounds. Do you want to stand up while we applaud you?
100 pounds lighter.
Oh my
There
goodness.
he is.
And you started in May.
I started in May. I'd gotten to a point where it was time for me to lose weight because of my heart and because of the fight against diabetes. And so I went to a bookstore, and because I had heard of Charles, I heard of his book, Think and Grow Thin.
Yeah.
And so picked up a copy of his book, read it. In his book, I mean, it's one thing to be put on a program for food and a program for exercise and all that's cool. But in his book, there was a part about the fat kid. And up here,
That's what you
I'm the
always-
fat kid.
Right.
I wanted to talk to the fat kid. And when I went over to talk to him, he understood the psychology of why I was fat, of why I had gained this weight, of why I couldn't lose it at that particular point in time. Yeah, I thought I couldn't lose it at that particular point in time. And so I bought into the fat kid because he used to weigh 360 pounds. And he dropped to a fine physical specimen that he is.
So that's what brought you to Charles.
Yeah.
And you know, that it makes so much sense because was there a moment in time where you were losing all that weight and then saying, you know, I do deserve this?
Oh, well, you know, there was a moment in time kind of like that, in that it's like I never thought that I would ever lose the weight again.
This could
that
be
I
me.
was,
I was
you know,
that
I'm
fat
coming
kid.
on, I'm 65 years old, I just turned 65, and I thought to myself, you know, for the rest of my life, I'm going to be, I'm going to be a heavy-set dude, and that's what it is. But then my heart started malfunctioning, and then the diabetes, I was shooting up, you know, like 250, 300 units a day. Now I'm down to about 30 to 50 units a day. When I first started shooting up, because I had gotten bad, I didn't pay attention to the doctor.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, I got bad, and I gained 70 pounds just off the insulin the first year.
My goodness, I've never heard of that.
So that was pretty wild.
So what does your doctor say now?
Oh, they were screaming. I went over there to, you know, North County Endocrinology and Dr. Charles Kelo, where I'm on the board of directors over there at the Kelo Foundation, and they're screaming.
So tell me, for you, what was it about this plan, or what is it about this plan that works for you? Does it become something that's easy for you? It takes a lot of the guesswork out of it?
Well, that's part of it. You know, a lot of it is structure. Especially coming from the media business, one of the things that we like is structure, because we can work off of structure. You can ad-lib off of structure. As long as you have structure, you can do something correctly. So Charles put me on a good structure, and he put me on something that was astounding to me. I always liked exercising, but I had gone away from it for about 5 years. But what he put me on was food, not a diet, but food that I enjoyed.
Feeding the muscle.
I couldn't believe that.
Feeding the muscle.
Can you describe for people what your program is?
Absolutely. What anyone needs to do at home that wants to create this change for themselves is this. They need to set up a plan where, number one, I would say you need to be eating 5 to 6 times a day. If you're looking for the mechanics of food, that of course is a very important part of this. Eating 5 times a day to 6 times a day, about every 2.5 to 3 hours. I would say make certain that you have a very balanced diet. You don't want to starve your body of any nutrients. So this is not some high protein, low carb plan.
No, it's not.
It's very balanced, but it's the consistency. And what I want to hit on that Asher said, or Smash said, is this. You want to become unconsciously competent. Now that comes from repeated behaviors. One thing that he can tell you, and you can talk about, Christine, is when people work with me, once we set the program up, we automate it where there's no more thinking. You do the same set of foods day in, day out, where you don't have to think about it. Think about any peak performer, a baseball player, an athlete, an ice skater. Someone goes out there and they don't have to give thought to it. When you're on television, Christine, here talking to me, you're not thinking about what am I going to say next. It just comes naturally to you.
I'm thinking about when I'm getting to the teas here that I have to do. But congratulations to you.
Oh,
I mean, that's
you.
terrific, and I know the quality of your life has changed and will
magnificently.
continue to be good.
And one of the things that has happened that I hadn't seen in maybe 15 to 20 years, I'm able to cross my legs.
See that?
How about that? Thank you, Charles Dangelo. I've been Dangelo.
All right, so think and grow thin, right?
That's correct.
That's your book. Well, coming up on Afternoons at 11, we'll check in with another client of Charles who's lost a lot of weight and has kept it off for, I think, almost 2 years, she said. We'll introduce you to her when we come back. Welcome back to Afternoons on 11. If you're thinking about making some life changes in the new year, this is just the show for you. Weight loss coach Charles Dangelo is here, along with his client, Deborah Ross, who has lost
152 pounds.
Went from a size
26 to a 6.
26 to a 6. And how long? You started this whole thing 2 years ago, and you've kept it off for a year.
Yes. I started December 20th with Charles, 5 days before Christmas. It was the time for me to do it. And I didn't even cheat for, I didn't cheat for 16 months. Now I call it healthy choices.
So Deborah, you saw Charles and I talking on News 11.
News 11.
Oh, thank you very much. and you made that phone call. And
I would
bet
be
you're-
nowhere without Christine Buck.
Thank you very much. And I bet you're glad you made that phone call. So
Oh.
tell me, we don't have a whole lot of time, but tell me what it was about the program that worked for you and why you're able to still do it.
Like Smash had said, it's structured. I mean, I needed somebody to tell me what to eat, what to do, and how to do it. Because no matter what I did before, it didn't work. So I went to see Charles, and he got my head on straight.
Look at you before and then after that.
And the
is
rewards
amazing.
come about so quickly. Christine, I know we were joking earlier, but seriously, what
I
people
know.
need to know about is that any behavior that's constantly reinforced is going to become habit. So if you can get a good result from what you're doing, like Smash has or she has, it will become habitual. And ultimately, once you make it a habit,
Right.
it's awesome.
You're right, and it is awesome. And you know, the psychological part is so interesting because it's different for everyone, but it can be very, very complicated. And this whole thing of going back, and I call it accountability because it was going back and weighing in. And for a while, it becomes, you know, like what, you know, I have to get on the scale in front of him. You know, it's a game you play with yourself, and then at some point you
You own
realize
it. Then
that
you own
the
it.
person that you're accountable to is you, and
Yes.
it's not about him really.
Absolutely.
You know, and that is another shift that you do while
Another
you
step.
do so. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's an amazing process because it's something, and there's a part of you also. It says, what was I doing before, and why did I wait so long?
I know, and people have even made that remark, like, I didn't eat a lot of food before, it was the wrong food. Now I eat a lot of food, and it's the
Yes.
right food. I have an alarm set on my phone. Hey, it's time to eat, okay? Because there's times that I'm not hungry.
But she
I-
still has to eat.
I still have to eat. But I went from not being able to walk 2 blocks, and I
Yes.
just started running. So I'm hoping to complete my first 5K
That is
in the
amazing.
spring. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm
And-
doing this.
And you're what, 50?
I'll be 59 in January.
And she's done this after 55 years of age. So it goes to show that no matter what your age, no matter where you are, you can always take charge of your habits if you're really ready to leverage yourself.
All right, thanks, congratulations to you.
thank you.
And we'll keep checking up on you. We'll have you in every year to see how you're doing. How's
Okay,
that?
that's great.
Fantastic.
All right, when we come back, we'll take your questions that you posted on Facebook, and we'll wrap it up. Welcome back to Afternoons on 11. A lot of viewers have been weighing in on our KPLR 11 Facebook page concerning weight loss. Charles, they've asked some questions, so let's start with first Jeannie Hughes Flanagan, who says, from a very active life to one post-injury, now with permanent issues like feet, knees, and shoulders, hip, and thyroid problems, her weight has increased significantly, and she cannot find a trainer who will work around these issues. Any advice?
Absolutely. First, start with your foods. 80% of the challenges that you're experiencing with regard to your weight issue can be alleviated when you get your nutrition really dialed in. So talk to someone who's really skilled at helping you create a behavioral program. If it's not calling my office, find someone around you that can help you outline a plan where you're eating consistently the right food set, day after day, week after week, month after month, and you'll start to see those changes happen. And then you can begin to incorporate the exercise that does work.
Right.
Now, you could always swim. You could do something that's not so impactive, so you don't really cause more injury than what you're experiencing already.
But you could almost guarantee that if you get the food under control, that you'll start to lose the weight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
Again,
then you'll-
80% of it, and the
And that's
thyroid
good for
issue.
your knees and all the things you
Absolutely. The
mentioned,
thyroid
yeah.
issue is not going to stop you from losing weight.
Okay, so Bobby Stevenson, I started working out last December, and not entirely from a sedentary state. I play soccer and softball recreationally. It's been a year of boxing 2 times a week and weight training 2 times a week. A lot of
Again, same
exercise,
issue.
and I've not lost a single pound.
We're hearing the same issue. They're all going at what a lot of people do, that primary, secondary, and tertiary standpoint. You need to have those 3 gears working together. You need to have the right foods, you need to have the right exercise and right mindset. And Asher, Smash, and Deb both said, if you don't know what to do, get my book, Think and Grow Thin. I outline a 12-week food program in there
Yeah, you
of
do.
exactly what to do. So if you don't, it's all grocery store food. It's not stuff you're buying from me, guys.
Right, right.
It's normal food that you get at Dierberg, Schnucks, Shop and Zag.
and here's your book cover. So again, Think and Grow Thin. You can find that at any bookstore, right?
And it has changed so many people's lives that I've never even met.
Yeah.
People that have just picked it up and begun following the program outlined in there that I wrote, and they have experienced unbelievable changes, getting off of medications, dropping 50, 60, 80, 100 pounds. It's remarkable what change in your mindset can
You've
really
come
do.
a long way yourself, Charles, from
Well, thank
losing
you.
the weight to meeting the people that you've met, the celebrities and presidents, you know, politicians. Well, I mean, it is pretty
Well, I
remarkable.
truly believe this is my vocation. I always tell people,
It's a calling for you.
this is my mission. I truly believe, now I don't look at it as just helping people lose fat because I'm kind of a Trojan horse. When I help people, I really help them see themselves in a new way and reclaim their power. I just want to be a blessing in people's lives. So if God uses me in this context to help people take charge of their health, because ultimately, what do you have if you don't have your health? If you don't feel good every day, if you're waking up in pain, like some of the clients that we're here talking about, where you literally don't want to get out of bed because you ache, or you're fearful that your family isn't going to be able to depend on you if you should have a heart attack and lose your life like my father did, I'm here to tell you, I've been touched by that pain. And when you get touched by pain that way and you lose people that you care about deeply, it changes you. You never want to see suffering. And my life is extraordinarily blessed. I have the love of my life, a girl named Crystal, who's my lady, and she come from an adverse background too. And
I bet she eats right.
I learned quite early,
hold your
dear,
thought.
that you don't tell your girlfriend what to do with food.
It's all about health, and I think that's a good way to end it, because it is about health. And I hope that in the new year, you get a hold of your health, if that's what you want to do. And we will have the contact information for Charles on our website at kpr11.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you Monday.